Hey guys, this is Gaurav Goel, your Northeast decal vascular agronomist again. Hope you guys are all staying well and safe in these crazy days of coronavirus. Since we are in the state of social distancing, I thought I would continue my series of talk to experts using digital tools. So today I have Joe Lawrence with me on the video call. For those of you guys who have been with this channel in the past, Joe is a part of Pro Dairy team at Cornell. Today, I thought in continuing our conversation on the dairy, I thought it would be good to pick his brain on winter grain cover crops, since a lot of farmers will be harvesting those in the next few weeks. So it would be good to pick his brain on that. So, Joe, we know that we can get good quality forage by harvesting these winter grain cover crops, right? But are there things or considerations, especially maybe in the timing of harvest, or things like that that people need to be thinking when they're doing this?
Yeah, thanks for having me today. And certainly timing of harvest, just like any of our hay crops, is very important for quality. So these winter grain cover crops can make high quality forages for lactating cows as long as we get them early. So we really want to get or harvest before the heads emerge. And we call that the flag leaf stage. It's the last leaf that comes out before head emergence, and that's a timing where you kind of optimize yield and quality. So given that this is a really busy time of year with on dairy farms, manure hauling, preparing for corn planting, preparing for first cutting of hay crops, this is just one added task in the whole list of things to do. So you really have to consider and plan ahead for what your workload looks like, and to get this harvested in a timely manner during spring operations. Another thought is that these crops can also be valuable as feed for non-lactating cows or even bedding materials when harvested at a later date. You can increase the tonnage, but the quality decreases. And the other thing to keep in mind is if you delay harvest till these later dates for non-lactating quality feed, you end up missing your window to plant corn. So you have to keep that in mind if you're hoping to follow back up with a corn crop. You could consider some other later summer seedings or other alternative crop rotations to go along with a later harvest date, but you just have to keep it in mind in terms of the entire goal of your crop rotation.
So, Joe, you mentioned the timing of harvest is really critical, so we understand that. But what about the things or the challenges that people can face, when they are harvesting, or even after harvesting, when maybe during ensiling? I mean, what kind of things they need to be thinking about that?
So yeah, we know that both the harvest and ensiling process are key to getting a good quality crop for the cows. And so we want to ensile this forage as quickly as possible at the proper dry matters to have a proper fermentation and avoid any excessive spoilage losses or quality degradation in storage. Small grains can be a challenge for this. One, because they tend to dry slowly. Two, the time of year of harvest often means that the soil is still moist underneath them, and it tends to be a rainier time of year, which can slow drying. And third, these crops can yield quite well, and so we end up with rather large windrows that can be hard to dry. So we just want to keep that in mind. And so some tips for trying to get a good harvest and ensiling process is to lay the windrows out as wide as possible. We try to get them at least 80% of the cutter bar width or more. And then and that allows the sunlight to get to them for quicker drying. Also, you could consider leaving a higher stubble height to keep the windrows up off the moist ground more and allow air to circulate underneath them. And a third consideration would be to harvest earlier. You may sacrifice a little yield, but when we think about the large size of these windrows and how slow they can dry, all of that yield that you could get may go to waste isn't dried and ensiled properly. So an alternative to that is harvest a little earlier when there's a little less yield out there, but it makes the drying process go more smoothly, and that would result in a higher quality forage that ferments better. And then once we get it off of the field, certainly just following all of our standard best management practices for ensiling, from packing to a high density if it's going in a bunk silo, making sure you properly cover with plastic and weight down the plastic with tires or sandbags, and then consider the use of a research-backed inoculant to aid in the fermentation and stabilization process.
All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of information on what things we need to be considering when we are harvesting grain cover crops. So I want to thank Joe for coming here on our series again. So thank you, Joe. I hope you guys can use this information in your cover crop harvesting program this year. Hopefully that is beneficial, but please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also share this information with others who may find it beneficial as well. But until then, this is God of Goyle, your Northeast DeKalb Vascular agronomist again, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.